I believe at that moment Puffy was terrified for his life. I think that he was afraid because all of the things that had gone out and about that party, they were singling him out, and I don't think that he thought he was gonna survive it.
He exposed Ked Angie Stone's identity and her dubious affiliation with the white cult just before she was removed, which surely drove the internet into a frenzy. In addition to being a prominent player in the music business, Angie was one of the first to identify Diddy's immoral inclinations and even helped him get over some of them. She did, however, die a few days after she sued UMG for stealing millions of money from her. And although Universal is not being blamed for her death, the whole thing seems strange, and Al is definitely talking about it. Angie tragically died on her way back after a gate when her car abruptly rolled over many times, leaving her and some of her crew members gravely injured. As most of you are aware, the shadiest thing happened when a truck arrived out of nowhere and struck her automobile while it was still overturned with her inside. At this time, it is believed that she was still alive and making every effort to escape the vehicle. If all of that wasn't weird enough, this was the deciding decision, and she was the only one out of all of those who are now deceased. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but how likely is it that she was the only person who died after being injured in a strange accident twice in a short period of time? Worse, the circumstances leading up to that night will have you wondering whether this was an accident or a premeditated effort to kill her. You see, just before she died, she was getting ready to sue Universal Music Group after discovering that they were allegedly taking her earnings for decades. I'm not talking about a few hundred, but at least $1 million over the last few decades. And Auntie wasn't. Given that she was engaged in a car accident on her way home from a show the day she died, Angie said she might have retired 20 years ago if Universal hadn't kept all that money. However, since she didn't receive any compensation, she was forced to continue working, which is absurd. Even though Angie had no business driving at 4 a.m. and commuting so far for work, she was forced to do it in order to survive because they were stealing all of her money.
A lot of my publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen. Where are my royalties going? Because I'm not getting this. Come to find out, Universal Music has been receiving all my royalties, all my mechanicals, but they have taken all the monies that were due to me, people that were working on my behalf, never even registered the songs, all the songs that I've done. I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered by the companies that I signed over to. So I'm truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time, because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, monies that I'm supposed to be, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made, supposedly. But there are key people that have been driving the ships. And what they've been doing is improperly representing me, improperly stealing from me, taking things in their own hand, changing and switching lanes because they knew I didn't know that part. The legal side, when you hire attorneys and managers and agents, they're supposed to make sure the gray area over there that they're in the driver's seat for, they're supposed to make sure you're taken care of. So I'm just here to let you know, one way or the other, Universal Music, you're gonna have to give up my coins. I mean, when you sit back and think Bruno Mars, Dr. Dre, when you think about all these people that have sampled music, if they're filthy rich on it, what's our problem? And that's why I'm telling on Universal and all the people that y'all work with me, y'all know who you are. You've been spotted, you've been seen, your work is useless to me now because I've seen the data. That's all I'm gonna say. I got a team of people, a diesel crew, that's really trying to help me navigate things. And if I never get it, at least you heard it from me, because I don't know what they might do to keep from paying me all the money they owe me.
She said, I made that video and told us this because I didn't know what they were going to do to not pay her all her money. In the final section, which I'm sure you all heard, a few days later, she passes away in a strange accident at 4 o'clock in the morning, but everyone else in the accident, excluding her, manages to survive. You guys, something is wrong here, and it's not just Diddy's wild parties. Prior to being taken out, Angie also revealed that she was suffering from a spiritual attack that led to a blood infection. If it weren't for prayers, she would have died sooner, but this infection sent her to the hospital, where she was fighting for her life.
I knew it was an attack. I knew it was a spiritual attack on me. However, I was treated, and God healed me, cleared up. They cleared up the blood infection.
I think the industry's initial attempt to get rid of her was infection. Angie didn't talk much about this infection at the time, but when she died, Al posted a note that was supposed to be a memorial to her, but it also contained the transcript of their text exchanges. The reason many people didn't support Al's involvement in this was not because he exposed the industry, but rather because of the way he did it. It started out with an ordinary homage that said, I can't really gather my thoughts currently to say anything close to describing the profoundly brave and amazing woman my sister star Angie Stone was, so I'll just let Angie say it to you all in our last text to each other. Following his posting of the transcripts, he started to be dragged. He told him about some really private matters that shouldn't be known by the general public. Call me now. Numerous events are taking place in connection with this transplant situation. Though they have discriminated against Black people for the last 5 years, I still have 2 possible donors. The following message she sent was answered by Al. Hey Queen, nice to hear from you. I'm on the aircraft, and as soon as I land, we'll be in touch. After years of trying to show the world what sort of man Diddy is, she went on to address him and said she was happy that he was finally being exposed. Kim Porter was also brought up, and it appears that she is helping to expose Diddy. The communications give me a call when you have a moment to talk after reading this. I'm praying for you and supporting you through everything, which makes me sorrowful. It is widely acknowledged that Quincy deserves to be with his biological father this time. Therefore, I hope that you and your son reconcile and that he leaves the turbulent circumstances. Since he is finally being exposed for the stupidity he has been preaching for years, I have been praying for you. I can assure you that Kim has been supporting you from the other side because I am familiar with her personality and style. Peace be with you, and know that I will always be here for you. Kim is in paradise, sleeping. A few days prior to my birth, she was born. The fact that Angie brought up Diddy is completely ridiculous. King, considering that she disclosed shortly before her death that Diddy had sought her prayers because he was concerned that his life was in danger after the whole Shine and J-Lo controversy.
I just happened to be in the studio this particular day, and because he never ever really bothered with me or spoke to me in that fashion, I wasn't a part of Uptown, I was just at MCA. On this particular day, I was coming off the elevator. I will never forget it as long as I live. And Puffy came to me, first time, speaking to me as a decent human being. And he said, hey, Miss Stone. I said, yeah, what's up? He said, how are you? I said, I'm fine. I'm shocked you speaking to me. He said, Miss Stone, would you please pray with me? I said, well, of course. When he asked me to pray with him, I believe at that moment Puffy was terrified for his life. I think that he was afraid because all of the things that had gone out and about that party, they were singling him out, and I don't think that he thought he was gonna survive it. And I was just happy that whenever he didn't speak to me, I knew he couldn't see me. But on this day, he saw the God in me. which was so not about me, but it was so about the spirit that I carry.
She joined the cult for unknown reasons, but others say she did so to shield herself from the industry's repeated attempts to kill her. Sadly, it was still not the case. Angie was involved in a lot of things, and others believe that her excessive knowledge was the reason she was expelled. It wasn't until they posted her after her death that better people realized she was with Zeta, an occult sorority. And not since they still have her, if the rumors are true. It was opinion time as usual. One person, for instance, asserted that Angie Stone's death was truly caused by Left Eye from TLC reenacting a horrific vehicle accident in which she was the sole victim. The narcissist Puff, according to another, understood that she was the only one who would sympathize with him due to her spirituality, and he never paid her any attention. I would like to know whether you think that any individuals in the industry were involved in Angie's unexpected death. Don't forget to view this other chaotic video by clicking here. As usual, he was being an energy vampire and wasn't going to tell her that she had a lovely knack for singing. She draws a lot of narcs and seems like an earth angel.